After going through a difficult time full of disappointments and betrayals, Ning wakes up in a powerful body with the power of the God Sword, becoming the strongest immortal god ever known. Ning is an 18-year-old loser at the bottom of the food chain, but he still dreamed of making something big out of his life. Just then, bad news shattered all of his dreams in one fateful day when his girlfriend of 5 years dumped him over phone. That's when he learned that she had been cheating on him with a rich guy. Ning felt the world crumbling beneath his feet. He barely had any money or possessions, and he was already in a 50K debt on his credit card. He had taken credit to purchase all the expensive gifts for his ex-girlfriend. To make matters worse, he also had to work in a cyber cafe in part-time to pay for his father's rental bills and his studies. He was walking along the street, head down, trying to forget his sorrows in a bottle of soy milk. Suddenly, Jacob's eyes widened as he saw a little girl almost getting hit by a truck. His body instantly reacted, and he dove forward to save her. But it came at a cost. His own body was now in the way of the truck, and it was too late to save himself. He wakes up in a strange place with no idea what's going on. He meets Lord Qi, the god of life and death. But Ning was not supposed to die today. He was supposed to live until he was 98 years old. The Lord was in a bit of shock when he saw Ning dead, but Ning starts blaming him for letting him die and asks to be brought to life again. However, the Lord simply says, "We don't accept refunds." But still, he gives him the chance to reincarnate in another world. He wanted a life of ease, which was why he had requested to the Lord to be reborn as someone with loads of free time and almost no responsibility. So, imagine his surprise when he received his answer. Ning would reincarnate as a prince. Ning wakes up in the new world and grins when he realizes that he has reincarnated as the heir of a powerful clan. 15 years passed since then, and Ning grew as you expect, a royal, arrogant, and lazy guy. He's assisted by 2 servants named Chun Kao and Q Yi. He grew up in his dream life, doing absolutely nothing, despite being a prodigy in martial arts. But his training consists of napping all day, until his father comes to check him out. He quickly gets up and pretends that he's training. His father always refused to let him practice outside the palace. His father doesn't trust him. He's a martial arts genius, but he's too arrogant and doesn't respect hard work. But their mortal enemies, the Zulong clan, are making some moves. And so, he needs to be sure Ning becomes a good future leader for the clan, and will allow him to train outside if he beats a demon beast first. Ning looked at the beast with a mocking smirk. It was small and scrawny, nothing he would be afraid of. But when the king unleashed the demon beast, everything changed. The beast suddenly grew into an enormous snake, much larger than Ning had ever seen before. Ning dropped his jaw in shock and stumbled back, his bravado faltering. With courage and strength in his heart, he charged forward, ready to complete his mission. He ran and leapt, swinging his sword. But the monster's tail was too powerful. He was pushed back, no matter how hard he tried. Ning had to act quickly. He stopped attacking, watched and waited, his heart pounding in his chest. When he was finally sure of what to do, he charged forward with all his might and tried to pierce the beast with his sword. But as his sword made contact with the beast's tough hide, it bounced off and Jake fell to the ground again. Jake was determined not to give up. He remembered the power he had. He closed his eyes and summoned the crimson aura within him. Suddenly, he felt power course through his veins and he felt faster and stronger than ever before. He resummoned his courage and energy and with one swift move, twisted, turned and slashed through the beast's throat. His father held out a jade sword for him to finish the beast. Its blade shined in the sun, but the sword wasn't just an ordinary weapon. It was a magical blade, and it only worked if Ning's blood ran through it. Ning grabbed the sword with determination, and with a few drops of his blood, it began to glow and absorb his power. He felt the sword come to life in his hands. He leapt through the air, and the jade sword sparkled in the light. With one final strike, the beast was slain. However, the demon beast's mom now wishes revenge on Ning and attacks. He tries to escape the arena as the beast attacks him. He performs a special technique to defeat it, but it dodges his attack, making him lose his arm. He stands up again and uses a magical technique to regrow his arm. He's about to get attacked again, but fortunately, his father saves him and forces the winged snake to retreat. Ning reunites with his mother. He tells her that the winged snake isn't wrong for taking revenge as they killed his son first. She thinks that his emotional weakness will be a burden once he becomes king. His father later returns and allows Ning to train outside. The news delights Ning, and without a second thought, he rushes outside. Ning explores the forest while Bai and Qi accompany him. He stops by a lake, where he sees a nest above the tree. He tries to steal some eggs, but he's shocked to see an azure sky snake before him. He falls from the tree and sees a girl laughing at him. He gets mad, telling her she won't laugh when the ugly snake attacks her. But the girl gets mad and transforms into the snake he encountered a second ago. He battles with the snake while trying not to harm it. However, the snake girl shows no mercy to him and ends up breaking his ribs. He uses a technique to heal himself, and decides to go serious against the snake, who goes back to its human sword. Ning engages in an equally sided sword fight with the girl. The battle is endless until he gets caught in a trap. He tells her to sprint, but she also gets trapped. He breaks through the trap and faces an enemy who turns into a beast. He turns his head and sees Jan, a criminal known for evil deeds. The girl tells him to run as he stands no chance against him. Ning watches from afar as they torture the snake girl to extract her power. He's about to attack them, but Bai appears to stop his aggressiveness, telling him that this is part of his training. Ning takes time to reflect, and notices trees get blown away because of the wind. In contrast, lotus flowers keep steady by being tranquil. He closes his eyes and successfully manifests the power of the lotus flower technique, creating fire and water to slash any object. Jan attacks him by throwing a tree trunk toward him. However, he effortlessly breaks it. Jan mocks his arrogance and expresses his desire to exterminate his clan. Ning successfully manifests the crimson bright diagram of the 9 heavens that maximizes the power of elements. The beast accompanying Jan attacks him, and he quickly counterattacks it by crushing it into pieces. Jan gets scared and kneels before him, asking him to spare his life. He begs to become Ning's student. However, Ning refuses because he doesn't agree to use his companions as sacrifices. He summons his power and exterminates him. The snake girl thanks Ning for saving her. In return, he can ask for anything from her. Their conversation is interrupted by Qi, who alarms them about the nearby village on fire. Ning can't believe this destruction was caused by the demon snake. He looks at the bodies and remembers his mother telling him that his emotions are his weakness. He finally understands what she means. His kindness will cause people to suffer, even him, who may lose his loved ones. He wants to fight the snake, but Bai tells him that he's too weak. He needs to train for 3 years to get a chance. But Ning has no patience to wait and train. He needs a way to defeat the beast. Bai offers to fight the demon snake for him, but he refuses. He's the one who created the demon's wish for revenge, and he's responsible for ending it. The snake girl tells him she knows how to make him stronger in a short time. She tells about the immortal Master Sui Hua, who's living on the Bright Heart Island, who will give him his legacy if Ning passes 3 tests. Despite the danger that he may face, Ning decides to go. The snake girl accompanies him, but Ning needs to go by himself. He reads a sign at the cave's entrance, saying he'll be rewarded with anything he wants. Inside, he encounters an armored guardian that warns him to go back if he doesn't want to die. Despite the threats, Ning cannot go back. He must get strong and solve his problems. He has already decided. He will fight. The Guardian multiplies into countless soldiers ready to attack him. He's uncertain about how long it will take to defeat them, but he fights them anyway. He slashes his sword back and forth, but they don't seem to die, even if they get sliced into pieces. He summons the power of Lotus. The soldiers dissolve but come back again. He discovers that the 81 soldiers function as a single unit, meaning when one suffers damage, the others will feel it. He must eliminate them continuously so that the controlling entity's magical energy will be drained. He fights for 3 straight days without taking a rest, until he finally manages to defeat them. He lies on the ground, trying to recover his breath. He's tired, but he cannot stop. He must push forward and finish the remaining tests. He meditates for a short time to recover his energy, but a beast monkey suddenly appears in front of him. The beast tells him to skip to the 3rd test, because the second guardian's girlfriend broke up with him and he decided life wasn't worth it anymore. He warns Ning he won't hold back and will use his full power. He slaps Ning right away, knocking him back with his strength. The beast tells him that he doesn't need to kill or defeat him, he just needs to hurt him. Ning summons 2 swords and manifests the lotus flower, but the beast doesn't flinch and easily counterattacks him. He tries to fight again by causing an explosion in the area, but the beast has no scratch. He rails against the unfairness of the situation. Suddenly, the beast starts crying, urging him to work harder and show more resolve. He is aware of his own capability but chooses to ignore it. Ning is surprised by the Guardian's reaction as it continues to weep due to loneliness from being alone for thousands of years. He tricks the beast's emotional state and uses its claws to wound his chest. He's not strong, but he's smart. He didn't use strength to defeat the beast, revealing a huge potential to be a fair immortal. The beast accepts his defeat and calls him master before disappearing. He wanders the place and ends up in a purple room perfect for meditation. When he's about to start, he sees a giant ox that introduces itself as a spirit of a magical object of Sui Hua. The ox congratulates him for passing the tests, making him the 5th master of that place. When the ox is about to leave, Ning complains about getting only a medal after undergoing complex tests. But the ox says he can't do much as he's just a spirit guide, and the previous masters of the place that could teach him are gone now. Instead, it teaches him the lesser thousand sword formation technique, where he can control multiple weapons to inflict damage on his opponents. If will be able to shake the sky and earth if he masters this new technique. After a whole month of training, Ning heads to the bottom of the lake to fight the demon snake. His aura became so powerful that it even opens the water. The demon spits fire at him, but he quickly uses his sword to send it back to the demon. The snake tries to eat him, but he disappears and cuts the demon's eye. Ning swims to the surface, and the demon follows him in rage. He literally flies, injuring the demon's body with his new power. The winged snake tries to flee, but Ning corners him. He summons the power of 1,000 swords and slices half of the demon's head off. Jin Ning returns home and becomes enraged when he learns that the Zulong clan, the Jai clan's sworn enemy, is waging war on them. The strongest among them is Tong Yu, while Zulai is the mastermind. Tong Yu managed to kill most of their clan members in their previous war with the help of Zulai's blessing, which increased his battle strength. They need to get rid of Zulai first to defeat Tong Yu, but it's quite impossible as he will probably lock himself. Their only chance to win is to use 5 people to release the dragon seal of celestial chains. Ning goes to the Zulong clan to inform them about the battle location. He threatens to kill Tong Yu as he tried to attack him while still in his mother's womb. Tong Yu gets mad and firmly tells him they will not back down at the fight. The day of the war comes, and Ning and Bai are tasked to go stealth to make sure the Zulong clan won't be able to escape, while the other 5 clan members, including Ning's parents, will control the dragon seal. His father uses the dragon scales to transform them into swords and gives them to Ning, hoping that they will help him destroy the Zulong clan. After absorbing the power, Ning heads to the battlefield and summons thousands of swords to incapacitate the enemies. However, the enemies join forces and counterattack him at once. He gets blasted away, suffering multiple injuries. He uses his powers to heal them and feels more powerful than ever. He ascends to the sky while the enemies cast a seal to protect themselves. Still, his swords penetrate through the barrier. The dragon seal emerges from the sky while Ning controls countless weapons, as they fall from the sky like rain, and he summons the power of Lotus. The enemies try to get to him, but he beheads the enemies one by one. Despite winning this battle, the dragon seal gets broken because of Tong Yu's strength. Tong Yu's about to attack Ning's parents, but Ning comes to him. Tong Yu transforms into a bigger form, but it's nothing compared to Ning's strength. The enemy charges forward, but Ning uses the 1,000 swords technique to attack him. The two clash with each other while struggling against each other's strengths, until Ning combines the 1,000 swords and Lotus technique. Tong Yu breaks the trap, but Ning uses his speed to injure him. He doesn't give him a break, and with one final blow, he uses the power of Lotus to weaken the opponent and slash his head. Ning tries to absorb Tong's power as fast as he can, but he cannot move, giving Zulai a chance to attack his clan by summoning his own dragon. The clan members try to stop the attack by controlling the dragon seal against it, but its force is too strong to match. Ning watches as the opponent's dragon devours his family into pieces. He grits his teeth and cries in pain as they are getting killed by Zulai. He screams in agony, which causes the place to crumble. He ascends to the sky and attacks Zulai's dragon, managing to slice it in half. After defeating the enemy, he's only left with Bai, the only survivor from their clan. A tear falls from his eye as he realizes